In a small-town diner, the kind of place where everyone knows each other's business, the lunchtime crowd buzzed with the usual gossip and friendly chatter. But today, something felt off. In the corner booth, an elderly man with a worn leather jacket and a long gray beard sat alone, quietly eating his meal. 3 teenagers hovered nearby, their laughter a little too loud, their smirks a little too cruel. The old man sighed a quiet, weary sound, as if he were used to this kind of treatment. But the waitress, watching from across the room, clenched her fists. She had seen enough. What happens when a single quiet act of courage awakens a sleeping giant? This is the incredible story of a waitress who risked everything to defend a lonely old man, and the unbelievable way an entire community rose up to defend her. Before we begin, if you believe in the power of kindness, of second chances, and of the courage to stand up for what's right, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to our channel, My Truth Story, and share this story. Your support helps us to keep bringing these powerful, life-changing stories to you, Emily. The waitress had worked at this diner for over a year. She knew the regulars. She knew their orders. And she knew their stories. The elderly man, a man the whole town knew only as Gus, was one of them. He came in every single week, always polite, always quiet, and he always tipped well. Despite his worn-out clothes and the deep, sad lines that were etched into his face, but today, those 3 teenagers, kids from the wealthier side of town, had decided to make him their target. Emily saw Gus lower his gaze as the teenagers chuckled, their voices a sharp, ugly sound in the otherwise peaceful diner. One of them, a lanky boy with a baseball cap, turned backward, leaned in close to the old man's table. "What's wrong, old man?" he taunted. "Cat got your tongue." Another boy, with a cruel, smug look on his face, snatched a fry from Gus's plate and popped it into his mouth. And the third, a girl with bright electric blue hair, pulled out her phone and started recording. "Say something for the camera, Grandpa," she mocked, her own laughter a high, shrill sound. Emily's blood began to boil. The other customers in the diner, the regulars, the ones who had known Gus for years, they noticed what was happening. But no one moved. No one said a word. No one wanted to get involved. And Gus, he just stayed silent. His own work-hardened hands resting on the table, his jaw clenched so tightly that a muscle jumped in his cheek. He had, she was sure, been through so much worse in his long and very difficult life. But that didn't make this right. Emily took a deep, steadying breath, and she began to march over to their table. The teenagers froze, their cruel, mocking laughter dying in their throats. The boy in the cap scoffed, a sound of a pure, unadulterated arrogance. "Relax, lady," he said. "We're just having a little fun." Emily didn't budge. "This isn't fun," she said. "You are harassing a customer, and if you do not leave right now, I will make sure that you do." The girl with the phone laughed, a short, ugly sound. "Oh yeah," she said. "And what are you going to do? Call the cops?" Emily leaned in a little closer, her own voice now a low and very dangerous whisper. "Or," she said, "I could call my manager and have all 3 of you banned from this diner. For life," or she added, her eyes now locking onto the girls, "I could call your parents. I am sure they would absolutely love to see this little video you are so happily filming." As the 3 teenagers turned to leave, defeated, the boy in the cap, in a final pathetic act of a petty and very childish defiance, grabbed Gus's full glass of ice-cold water, and with a cruel, deliberate movement, he threw it onto the old man's lap. Cold liquid soaked instantly into his worn, faded jeans. The teenagers then burst into a final, ugly peal of laughter before finally, and with a great theatrical show of a swaggering and very false bravado, they walked out of the diner. Gus just sighed, a long, weary, and very familiar sound, and he reached for the small paper napkins on his table. But Emily, her own face now a mask of a quiet and very real fury, quickly grabbed a clean, dry towel from behind the counter and handed it to him. Gus nodded. "I've been through worse," he said. He then patted her arm gently. "You've got guts." Kid, he added, a new and very real respect in his own tired eyes. Standing up for an old biker like me, not many people would do that. But before Emily could respond, a new and very different kind of voice called out from the back of the diner. Emily. In my office now. Her stomach dropped. She gave Gus a final apologetic look before following her manager to the back. Inside the small windowless office, Mr. Reynolds shut the door and turned to face her. What? He began, his own voice a low and very controlled sound. Were you thinking? Emily frowned. I was protecting a customer, Mr. Reynolds. He shook his head, a gesture of a deep and very real frustration. You were threatening customers, Emily. Those kids. They have parents who come in here every single week. We cannot afford to lose their business over something like this. Her own chest tightened. So you were saying, she asked, her own voice, now a quiet and very dangerous sound, that I should have just stood there and let them bully him. Mr. Reynolds sighed, a long, weary sound, as he ran a hand through his thinning hair. I'm saying, he said, that you should have let me handle it. His face hardened then, the brief and very fleeting flicker of a human sympathy he had shown now gone, replaced by the cold, hard mask of a man who was, in the end, just a boss. That is enough, he said. Hand over your apron. You're done. Here, her breath caught in her throat. Wait, she said. You're firing me? He just nodded, his own eyes not even able to meet hers. Effective immediately, he said. The cold afternoon air hit her face as the diner door shut behind her. And what she didn't know, what she could not have possibly known, was that in less than 2 short and very dramatic hours, her entire and very small and very difficult life was about to change. Forever, Emily sat in her car, the quiet, humming silence of the engine, a stark contrast to the loud, chaotic storm that was raging inside her. Fired. The words, so simple and so final, echoed in her mind. She had been fired for doing the right thing. The unfairness of it all, the sheer and very ugly injustice of it, burned inside her. She wiped the hot, angry tears from her eyes, took a deep, shuddering breath, and tried to calm down. She needed to figure out what to do next. The bills were due. The rent was coming up. And she could not and would not afford to be jobless. Her phone buzzed. It was a message from her best friend, Lisa. Hey, want to hang out later? Emily stared at the screen for a long, silent moment before she replied, got fired. Not really in the mood. Almost immediately, Lisa responded, WHAT. Are you serious? I'm coming over. Emily sighed. She appreciated her friend's loyalty, but right now, she just wanted to be alone. But before she could put her phone down, there was a quiet, gentle knock on her car window. She jumped, then turned, and saw Gus standing outside, his weathered and very kind face now more serious than she had seen it before. She rolled down the window. You okay, kid? He asked, his voice a low and very concerned sound. Emily forced a small, brittle smile. Not really, she said. Gus just nodded as if he understood. I didn't mean to cause you any trouble in there, he said. I appreciate what you did. Most people, it would have just looked the other way. It was just the right thing to do, she shrugged. Gus studied her for a moment. Then, without saying a single word, he reached into the inside pocket of his old, worn leather jacket and pulled out a small, simple card. He handed it to her. If you ever need anything, he said, you call this number? Emily looked down at the card. It was plain, white, with just a single phone number written on it in a bold black ink. There was no name, no business, just a number. She frowned. What is this? Gus smiled, a small and very mysterious smile. A lifeline, he said. Then before she could ask him anything more, he had patted the door of her car and had walked off, his heavy, worn-out boots echoing a slow, steady rhythm against the wet pavement. Emily watched him go, and then she glanced at the strange and very mysterious card again. She shook her head and tossed it onto the passenger seat. Right now, she needed to focus on finding another job, not on a strange and very cryptic lifeline. Her phone buzzed again. It was Lisa. Emily, go on Facebook. Now, frowning, Emily pulled over to the side of the road and opened the app. Her own feed was flooded with a single and now very viral video. The video? The one the girl with the blue hair had been so happily and so cruelly recording. It showed everything. Gus, sitting alone. The teenagers bullying him, and her, Emily, stepping in. Fearless, her voice a quiet, powerful, and very righteous. Fire, refusing to back down. And then it showed her manager, Mr. Reynolds, firing her. The caption above the video read, "Brave waitress stands up for elderly veteran, gets fired for IT. This is wrong." Emily's heart pounded as she read the comments. This is disgusting. Who owns this diner? They need to answer for this. We stand with Emily. Someone give this woman a job. Where is this place? Let's show them what happens when you mess with the wrong people. Her own hands shook as she scrolled. The video, in just 2 short and very viral hours, had over 200,000 views. The comment section was exploding. People were furious. And then another notification popped up on her screen. A new and very active live stream. She clicked on it. It was from someone, a man, who was standing just outside the diner. The camera was shaking slightly as the person spoke. You are not the man's voice. A voice full of a pure, unadulterated disbelief said going to believe this. There are hundreds, and I mean hundreds, of bikers pulling up to the diner right now. This is absolutely insane. The camera panned, and Emily's own breath caught in her throat. The entire parking lot of the diner, the same sad and very lonely parking lot she had just been sitting in, was now filled with motorcycles. More than 500 of them, all of them big, powerful, and very intimidating. And all of the bikers were dressed in leather jackets, some with matching patches on the back. And right at the very front of them, standing tall and with a quiet and very powerful authority, was Gus. Emily's hands trembled as she lowered her phone. She could still hear the distant and very real roar of the motorcycles. This was unreal. Hundreds of bikers, all of them here for her. Her phone buzzed again. This time, it was Lisa calling. Emily, are you seeing this? This is insane. Lisa's voice was a breathless, excited sound on the other end of the line. Yes, Emily said, her own voice a quiet, dazed whisper as she paced her small apartment. I am seeing it. But I don't understand. Why? Why are they all there? Are you kidding me? Lisa had scoffed. You stood up for one of their own, Emily. And now the entire and very loyal biker community is standing up for you. A new message popped up on her screen. An unknown number. Come to the diner. She had hesitated, her own stomach churning at the thought of having to face her former boss, Mr. Reynolds. Again. But a new and very different kind of curiosity, a curiosity that was stronger than her fear, was now gnawing at her. She had grabbed her keys, and she had rushed out the door as she pulled up near the diner. Her own breath caught in her throat. The parking lot was completely and utterly packed. Rows and rows of powerful and very beautiful motorcycles lined the entire street. The bikers stood in small, quiet groups, their leather jackets gleaming under the soft evening streetlights. Some had their arms crossed. Others were on their phones, likely watching the same viral live stream that she had just seen. But all of them, every single one, looked serious. Emily parked a block away and began to walk toward the diner, her own heart now hammering against her ribs. The people, the bikers, they noticed her immediately, heads turned. Conversations hushed, and then someone, a large, burly man, with a kind, gentle face, started to clap, and then another and another, and within a matter of seconds, the entire and very intimidating crowd had erupted in a wave of a cheering, a whistling, and a very heartfelt applause, all of them calling her name.
Emily.
Emily felt her own face flush, a hot and very overwhelming wave of a pure, unadulterated emotion. She had never, in her entire and very quiet life, had this kind of an attention before. She spotted Gus, standing near the front of the crowd, He was smiling, a proud and very beautiful smile. She approached him, still feeling as if "We're in a dream. What is all of this?" she asked. Her own voice a dazed and very grateful sound. Gus just chuckled. "What is happening, kid?" he said. "Is that you stood up for me? Now they are all standing up for you?" Before Emily could respond, a new, deep, and very gravelly voice spoke up from just behind her. "Is this her?" She turned and saw a massive man. A man with a thick gray beard was wearing a leather vest that was covered in a series of colorful and very official-looking patches. His presence alone was intimidating, but there was a real and very genuine kindness in his eyes. "Yep," Gus had nodded. "This is Emily." The man extended a large, calloused hand. "Name's Bear," he said. "I'm the president of the Iron Legacy Motorcycle Club." Emily shook his hand, still feeling completely and utterly overwhelmed. It's nice to meet you," she said. Bear just smirked. "You got guts, kid," he said. "Not many people would have done what you did in there." "I didn't expect all of this," she said, gesturing to the massive and very loyal crowd. Well, Bear's own face now darkened. "Your boss? He messed with the wrong people." Before she could ask what he meant, the main door of the diner swung open, and Mr. Reynolds, her former and now very terrified manager, stepped outside. His own face was a pale and very sweaty white. He looked at the vast and very intimidating sea of bikers, and then he looked at Emily. The crowd murmured. A low, angry, and very threatening sound. Mr. Reynolds held up his hands, a gesture of a pathetic and very desperate surrender. "Look," he stammered. I didn't mean ... Bear took a single, powerful step forward. "No," he said, "you meant exactly what you did. You fired her for protecting one of our own. You let those rich little kids harass an old man, a veteran, because their parents spend a little money here." He gestured to the vast and very loyal army of bikers. "Well, guess what? We've got money too. And we are making damn sure that no one, and I mean no one, ever eats in your pathetic little diner again." Reynolds' eyes widened. "Wait," he said, "you can't ... But Bear wasn't finished. "There are hundreds of us here tonight," he said, "and there are thousands of us, all across this entire country. You think this is bad? You just wait until every single biker in America knows what you did here tonight." The color completely drained from Mr. Reynolds' face. "Please," he said, his own voice now a weak and very pathetic plea. I can fix this." Gus stepped up to stand beside Bear, his own voice now a quiet and very powerful command. "Then fix it," he said. Mr. Reynolds swallowed hard. He turned to Emily. "If I give you your job back," he said, "will you please stop all of this?" Emily blinked. "Are you serious?" "Yes," he pleaded. "Can have your job back. A raise even." Emily stared at him, and then she looked at Gus, and then she looked out at the vast and very loyal crowd of bikers who had all come here for her, and a slow and very beautiful realization began to settle in. She didn't need this job. She had power now, the power of a community, the power of respect. She lifted her chin, and with a voice that was as clear and as final as a bell, she said, "No." Emily's life changed forever on that one single night. She didn't just get a new job, she found a new family. And she learned a very powerful and very beautiful lesson. That sometimes the quietest and most unassuming of voices can, in the end, make the loudest and most beautiful of sounds. The sound of a community, a real and very powerful community standing up together for what is right. Final hooks: if this story touched your heart, please don't just scroll away. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another powerful tale of love, of sacrifice, and of redemption from my truth story. We bring you emotional, dramatic, and life-changing stories that will stay with you long after the video ends. One single click supports our channel and helps us to keep creating these stories that truly matter. Please subscribe now. It means more than you know.